I direct a lot of stuff. I try to create some sequences of footage, but some of the shots are actually made. I just shoot them.
He doesn't just film weddings. He immortalizes emotion.
They don't act normal. And I don't want this in my shots. I want them to act normal, so...
For over a decade, Dimosthenis, the force behind your white moments, has shaped how love is remembered.
When I was really young, my grandmother used to tell us some fairy tales to me and my brother, so we can go to bed. I was listening to them and I was creating images in my mind.
Award-winning, visionary, relentless. He doesn't follow stories, he creates them.
I try to tell them, now I just want you to open up this door and go outside. This is something that they could do in their life, and this is something that it feels more natural with them.
And in every frame, you feel the truth of love.
When you choose the videographer, you have to see the aesthetics and the skills of the videographer.
Every single question you have about the wedding industry will be answered here. I'm Antonis Papadakis, and this is the Wed Podcast. Welcome. If you do like us, share some love and press the subscribe button. Let's start. Dimosthenis, welcome.
Hello, Adoni. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be here today. I'm super excited for our conversation.
What inspired you to become a wedding videographer, cinematographer, or whatever?
So, okay, I want to call myself filmmaker, but...
Or filmmaker.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's the same thing. So I'll take you a bit back. When I was 15 years old, it's like 16 years now, I used to be a dancer. So I was dancing, and actually I was hosting some dancing events. And I asked from my father to give me, he had an old camera, and I asked him if he could give me the camera so I can capture some videos of me dancing and my friends. And then I understood that I really like it. And after that, somehow I got into clubs. I started shooting clubs and products, and I got into the industry of videography. And at some point, I was asked to shoot a wedding. So I honestly had no idea about wedding videos. All I had in my mind was these videos that our parents used to have from their weddings. And I was like, what am I going to do? I don't want to do that. Maybe I can do something better. So I started scratching on the internet and looking for something different. And I actually saw, I can't remember actually what videos I saw, but I saw that there were some videos with true storytelling.
You remember who made them?
So I would lie if I say the names, but I can still remember that Riccardo Fasoli was one of the first videographers that I was watching online. So now what inspired me? Till then, all my videos were actually trying to sell something. So when I was doing a product video, I was actually trying to sell the product. But with the wedding video, it's different because now you don't have to sell something. It's all about the emotions. It's the fact that the couple will see the video and it will remind them this beautiful day. So I fell in love with this idea, and that's how I thought, okay, maybe that's what I should do.
What's your approach during the wedding day? And how much your approach changed during the years?
When I'm going to a wedding, I try to split the wedding into two parts. There is the first part that are the important things that are happening. For example, it's the ceremony, or it's the first dance of the couple, or it's the speeches. And on this part, I try to forget all the artistic part. I'm not trying to capture anything in a weird way. So I try to be as correct as possible. And after that, I have the other part of the wedding that it's the storytelling. And maybe the better question here is, how do you actually tell a good story? And there is not right or wrong way, but I have my own approach. I guess this is coming from something really, really old. And when I was really young, my grandmother used to tell us some fairy tales to me and my brother. so we can go to bed. Now, I remember that she was saying some fairy tales that she was making them up at this point. And I was listening to them and I was creating images in my mind. But these images were actually in my mind. My grandmother was saying just words. And I have this idea that you don't always have to show everything to tell a story. So if you just show to the viewers just a hand grabbing the shoes, they will understand that someone is going to put their shoes on. So my approach to the wedding, as the second part of the shots that I shoot, is that I want to show just little things that I will let the viewer to create the story on its own, on his own.
Okay.
I don't know if I actually...
So you direct everything after the...
before
the ceremony?
I direct a lot of stuff. I try to create some sequences of footage, but some of the shots are actually made and I just shoot them. And in the editing process, I might actually cut a part of a shot, although someone could say, why don't you put this part? And I just cut it so the viewer can imagine what's going to happen. I'll give you an example. So if I'm just capturing a video of my hands right now, and you hear that someone fall down, you would imagine that someone, like my assistant or someone else, just fall down. But this didn't happen. Like, you just added a sound effect. Mm-hmm. So it's the same in the videos, or in the wedding videos. You can just add something and create a story without even happened.
So you direct also in the editing
Yes.
part?
Yes.
Can you describe a typical workflow for editing a wedding video?
Yeah.
So you tell your story.
Yeah. So the first thing that I do is that I put all of the footage in the timeline, and I view the footage. Meanwhile, while I'm watching them, I cut the parts that I feel like they're unusable. And the next thing that I'm doing is that I'm trying to imagine what kind of vibes all this footage pass to me. So do I feel like this is, a very Greek wedding? Should I maybe put, a Greek song that reminds of Greece? So while I'm watching the footage, I'm trying to imagine the vibes. After that, I go to the internet and I'm trying to find the music. This is probably the worst part of editing a video. I think that goes for everyone. And there's this process that I'm finding a song, I put it in the timeline, I'm editing like 2 or 3 hours, and then I'm like, okay, I don't like the song. And then I go back and take another song. And although I'm putting the song in the timeline, it doesn't mean that I'm actually editing on the song. I really want to edit nowadays. It wasn't like that before. But nowadays, I really want to try to edit without the song. I just listen it. I don't do the cuts on the song, on the beats. So I just try to create the story without the cuts on the beats. And after that, I change a bit, the cuts so it can fit better on the song. After that, of course, it's color correction, color grading, and you hope that the export will work.
You finish at the first long video, let's say, or the short video?
I always start with the long video.
So you see all the footage?
Yeah. Because it's twice the work. If you start with a highlights video, then you have to redo some parts again from the start.
And what about your equipment?
All right.
Which is your best setup on the camera? I'm sure the gimbal.
Okay. I've shared so many times that I hate gimbals. Maybe the words hate, it's a bit too much. I don't hate gimbals. I actually think that we live in an era that gimbals are probably... We live in the gimbals era. And...
I'm not sure. I think that the last... before 2 years was more...
Yeah, maybe, but you know, the gimbals nowadays are so easy, and they're made for huge cameras. You can do whatever you want with a gimbal. Now, why I don't use gimbal? I'll start with that. I think that my best skill. That's what I think. Others might think otherwise, but my best skill is how to create a good frame. When you use a gimbal, for some reason you always put yourself in a situation that you're trying to add some movement. So if I use a gimbal, then I'm missing actually my best advantage from what I think to create a great frame. So I think it's better if I just be static, create a good frame, and then the image would probably speak by itself. You don't need to add, something crazy with a gimbal to make it happen. And other than that, I find it, to be honest, really difficult to create movement on a wedding day while you don't direct things and you don't know exactly how people are going to move. So I think that when you have to add movement to the shot, it's really important to know why you add it. It's not just adding movement.
There's no answer for the why for a lot of people.
Yeah. I see many people doing that. Like they're just making a push in, but why? Because it's boring to just stay static. So the problem is not the movement; it's the boring frame. Mm-hmm. Now I might be wrong.
It depends on the style of everyone.
Yeah. Now, as for the equipment that you asked me for before, there are like many companies out there creating great brands, great cameras, and I don't think that there is a right or a wrong camera to use. But for me, essential equipment is that you really need a camera, a lens, a backup camera that you can also use it as a big cam if you want, a tripod so you can use the second camera as a static camera in the ceremony. And for me, a monitor is also something super important, because if you don't have a monitor, then you end up shooting stuff that you don't know what to shoot. You're just clicking record and you don't know how it looks. You might have cables behind or anything like that and you don't see them. So having a monitor, for me, it's essential. And that's the gear for the video. Now, if we go to the audio, the possibilities and the things that you can do are endless. But for me, it's really important to have at least 2 recorders with you, small recorders with lavalier mics. So you can put maybe one to the groom or one to the celebrant. Hopefully, you can also put to the bride. That's not always easy. And yeah, I'm not going to speak about drones. Drone is another.
About the lens?
So when I started, I was convinced that you have to shoot with prime lenses, because they are with a wider aperture, you can create more depth of field, and the image quality, they say it's so much better. But the more I do weddings, the more I realize it's so much better being flexible. And now I just shoot with a 24-70 G Master Mark II. I know it's an expensive lens, but that's all I need. Actually, from the moment that I start shooting in the morning from a wedding till the end, I don't change lens. And if I find that the f2.8 it's not open enough, then I'm doing something wrong with the lighting. It's not the problem of my camera or the lens. It's the problem of my lighting.
How would you describe your style?
Cinematic. No, of course no.
If I read your about on your website,
Mm-hmm.
it's the word cinematic there. It is.
It could be. It could be, because it's been a while since we wrote these words, and it's a way to brand your business. By putting the word cinematic, people think that you're doing cinema.
Okay, but as I told you before, everyone put the word cinematic without knowing why and how to explain it.
Yeah. I don't think that there is a correct way to explain what cinematic is. It's just a word that you put so you can You can pretend that you do cinema maybe, but I actually thought about this sometime like 4 months ago, and I feel like what we call cinematic, it's not the colors of the film, it's not the grain, it's not something specific, it's not the frames that you shoot, it's more the feeling. And what I mean by that, for example, I'm going to my. I used to spend my summers in a village in Thasos Island, and every time I go back there, I smell a specific thing that reminds me of a village of this village. So this when I smell this thing and I'm outside of this village, I remember my village. So I think it's the same for the cinematic. So when we see something that reminds us of cinema, we call it cinematic. So if I put black bars in my video, people will say it's cinematic because it reminds them the movies that they've seen in the cinema. If I do good color correction, good color grading, they feel like, okay, this is cinematic. So it's about reminding them something from cinema. That's what I call cinematic.
So about the lighting,
Mm-hmm.
you said about the 2.8 aperture. How you handle different lighting conditions during the wedding day?
My typical workflow is that I'm trying to shoot against light. You've probably seen many videos out there telling you that this is the cinematic way. But yeah, that's my approach. So for example, when I'm in the preparations of the groom or the bride, I'm putting my couple near the window and I'm shooting from the opposite side of the window, from the dark side of the face. And I always try to create a bit of contrast with the light. Of course, we're talking about a wedding, and you cannot always control this stuff. So if the ceremony is happening in like 3 o'clock at midday, it's like the sun will be above the couple, and you can't do anything about it. So yeah, in these situations, you can do anything. Now, as for the night, I always carry with me, it's like one of these new portable lights, like 100 watts, and with that much of power, you can light anything you need at night. So if I see that, it's too dark on the dinner or in the party area, then I just put it and try to shoot against this light, so I can still create some contrast. That's all I do. It's nothing complex.
With your partner Yannis,
Mm-hmm.
you co-own your White Moments,
Mm-hmm.
which is a destination wedding photography and videography business.
Mm-hmm.
How it all started to be a destination?
We started shooting weddings just in Thessaloniki. Friends of us were getting married, so they asked us to shoot a wedding or two. And then me and Yannis, we used to be friends before creating this brand. And we decided, okay, we can create your White Moments, but in our mind, we had something big. We wanted to create something that, we wanted to travel and make videos and photos. At the beginning, it felt like, but how do you do that? I remember though, people actually say that you are what you tell you are. So you start by saying that you are a destination wedding photography, videography service. By saying that, you just tell the people that that's what we're doing. So they are convinced, they have no reason to don't believe you. Mm-hmm. After that, you're trying to, ask your couples, maybe we can do a next day after wedding shooting to an island. Maybe we can do it in Paris. Maybe we can do it anywhere in the world. So you have to invest by saying, guys, we can come over there, and you will just pay for our flights, for example. So by doing that, over and over and over again and trying to create a portfolio that it's not based only in your small city, somehow you create a portfolio that actually is all around the world. And once you do that, then you don't even have to write your destination wedding filmmaker or photographer. People will see that you have images from all over Greece or all over the world. And once you start posting pictures and videos on Instagram or TikTok or I don't know, whatever platform you use, once you're posting this kind of images on this and with the location of this place, people that are getting married to these places will find you. And if they like what you do, then will probably hire you. Then after that, it's all about your price and what you do.
What are some common challenges you have seen being a destination wedding cinematographer or videographer?
Cinematographer, I like it. I have bars in my video. So one of the biggest challenges is to try to fit all your equipment in a cabin bag. And trust me, we have, it's like mathematics. You have to count every single part of your equipment to see how much it weighs and how you can achieve better image quality with less parts. And I believe that this is the most challenging thing. Now, of course, this goes only to the way that you travel. In the wedding day, there are many challenges that you have to face each and every day. For example, one thing is that every wedding could be from a different culture. So you have to try to read before you go to the wedding. What are they gonna do? Like an Indian wedding is so different than a Greek wedding. So you have to read before you go, ask the couple, make a conversation. And, they might say, oh, we have this tradition of smashing plates, for example, in Greece, yeah. But if you've never been there, you don't know what they mean. You don't know how important or not it is. So this is one challenge. And I have many challenges, actually, to say, but I don't want to waste the time with this.
And how you will travel with a gimbal?
Yes, that's the first reason that I put it out of my equipment.
In case you haven't done it already, please hit the subscribe button of our channel so that we keep growing. The more you help us grow, the more interesting professionals we will be able to host. So, subscribe today. How do you work with wedding planners during the wedding day?
So, for me, it's super important that the wedding planner care about me. And this goes from the timeline itself. So, they should know, as wedding planner, that what times of the day are the best times for photos and videos. So I expect from the planners that they try to convince at least the couples about the timings of the ceremony and the shooting of the couple and everything. So to be honest, most of the times this goes well, but there are times that the ceremony is at the wrong timing of the day, and we have like a couple shooting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's impossible actually to create good images. So it's not. I'm happy that most of my clients have a wedding planner, and I think it's the most important part. I prefer that they have a wedding planner than flowers or something like that. But I think that nowadays, not all the wedding planners actually know what they're doing. So for me, it's really important that the wedding planner knows how you can create good images, knows that we need some time for the images, so we cannot create something beautiful in like 5 minutes. Just the time that you need to see the place and understand how the light hits the place and everything like that. We are humans, and we have exceptionally as filmmakers, we have 1,000 different things in our minds, like place the recorders, place the second camera, fly the drone, anything like that. So you need time. And when I see a time plan that it's really, really pressured, I feel like, okay, so it's either they don't care about the video or they don't know what it needs to create a video, a good video. So yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm not saying that that's every time. That's most of the times things are good, but there are moments that I'm like, okay, they expect from me to be the Superman.
So this about before the wedding day.
No, all these are going to the wedding day now.
Going to affect the wedding day.
I'm always trying to be kind. I always, if I see that something is super wrong, hopefully I have the time plan 3 or 4 days before the event, so we can exchange some information with the planner and ask them if we can change that or that. And now on the wedding day, I don't feel like I have any problems. Yeah, there are some times that I feel they expect something from me that it's not my work. But
like reels?
Yeah, maybe reels, maybe a specific shot that they might imagine. But I believe that this goes to those planners that are not yet to a level to understand what their job is. If a wedding planner suggests you to their couples, he suggests you because he knows that you're a professional and that you know how to create both good videos that he can use to his portfolio, but at the same time, he knows that the most important part for you as videographer is the client and not the planner itself.
So about the couple shooting after the ceremony. Describe to me and to the viewers how you work during these 20 minutes, let's say.
So most of the times we work both for photos and for videos with Yannis, my co-partner. And we have these 20 minutes to figure everything out. Since we know each other and we know exactly what we need, I let him start with the photos, and I let him spend maybe 10 or maybe 15 minutes of the 20 minutes. And meanwhile, I'm trying to understand and think what's the best way to capture a good sequence of videos, because in this small amount of time, you don't have the time to actually make mistakes. You have to be fast. I'm the type of videographer that I shoot all day, 25 frames per second. But when I'm on the couple shooting, I know that each frame matters. So I just change my frames to 50 or even 100 sometimes, and I know that I could just shoot like 5 different shots, and from these 5 different shots, I can just take like 1 second that I will slow motion, and it will be 4 seconds, and I got the footage. This is not the ideal. I'm not saying that this is what people should do.
This is how you work.
But I found from my experience that this is the most safe way to create a decent video.
You are not capturing videos during Yannis?
No, never. Like never. Maybe 1% of the times I do. And the reason is because I don't want to take the focus of the couple from Yannis. And I expect the same from him.
Let's say Yannis make a pose and you like the composition or the backdrop or whatever it's inside his composition. You will not go there and say, can you walk to me or to the other side?
You know what? For video, the most important part, I think it's the continuity of the shot. So when people are taking photos, they actually change their eyes from left to right. They look at the lens. They don't act normal, and I don't want this in my shots. I want them to act normal. So I just give tasks to my couples. That's the way I work. I give them tasks, and when you give someone task, he kinda forget that you're filming them. So while they're taking photos, they're not doing tasks. They're just like, okay, now look at the camera, or now look at each other, give a kiss. This is not a task.
Give us an example.
Okay, so the most common example that you see to like thousands of videos, hold your hands and walk. This is a task for me. I might ask them, now, my beautiful bride, I need you to run, and the groom will try to catch you. This is also a task. And the moment they start to have fun, this is the moment that you capture the most beautiful images. If I ask them, now I want you to come close and kiss each other, this is so awkward. Like, I try to imagine myself being with my future wife, and someone tells me, now I want you to kiss each other. How awkward is this?
It's a lot.
And being like, you want a really close up of this shot. I'm not saying that I didn't do it before, but nowadays I try to let them be a bit away from me. I try to tell them, now I just want you to open up this door and go outside. This is something that they could do in their life, and this is something that it feels more natural with them. So yeah, this is how most of the times I work. Of course, there are exceptions. Of course, there are, again, I told you, there are moments that I ask them, okay, now kiss each other, and I'm like in 2 centimeters away from them, like with a macro lens. But I know that 99% of the times, this is not going to end up with a good result.
While working with Yanis, it's something that it's so easy for you, okay? Is there weddings that you are not working with Yanis and you are working with another photographer?
I've been to such weddings, not many, to be honest. But I guess your question here is if I had problems with the photographers.
Not the problems. I don't think it's so big that it's a problem, but how you work with them. How you try to be okay with their job.
So I don't think that I ever made trouble to another photographer. I try to respect them. That's the first thing that you need to do. And if you respect someone and he respects you back, then everything will be fine. I try to set my expectations for this wedding. So, for example, I tell them, for me, the most important part and what I want you to do is to let me capture the ceremony as I want. I don't care if you have more time on the couple shooting, for example, than me. I can understand it. I don't care if you have more time in the preparations, but I need you to respect that I'm filming video, and I have like 3 different cameras. I have the main camera, that this one is the one that I don't want you to be passing by. I expect them that they have...
So you are the main camera, or you mean the...
I have the main camera that, for example, it's in the middle of the ceremony, and I'm not capturing like super wide, but I expect them that they have a proper lens. I expect them that they are not like in front of the couple and the guests are watching their backs. I expect that they are professional, because in a wedding, it's not good that, people are standing in front of the guests to capture a close-up shot. Okay, you can do that. Of course, you can do that for 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, but you cannot be like all the time during the ceremony just in front of the couple and capturing this. It's insane. So I try to explain them, okay, we will have 3 different angles. You can pass by from the one camera, you can pass by from the other camera, because I have the other ones. But I don't want you to be in the middle of all of my frames, and...
In the same time?
In the same time, yes. And again, I give them. It's not that I let them, they can do whatever they want, okay? I'm not their boss or something.
In a respect way.
Yes. But I asked from them, that's the better word, I asked from them that they can join and go for a close-up maybe during the rings, and we communicate that, so I will join closer with them, and then we can go back and everything is fine. Until now, I didn't have any problem. I believe it's because...
You're lucky.
Maybe, yes. And as I told you, it's not many weddings that I work with strange photographers. It's most of the times I work with Yanis. So we know he actually helps me for video. He's going to check the other cameras are in focus or are they recording. So yeah, it's a help, not a problem for me.
Let's go back to the couple shooting and the footage from the whole wedding day. You put in a timeline and you are trying to make the highlights film, or how you say it. What is the process
Of creating the highlight film.
of creating the highlight film, and also with the storytelling that you're trying to make during the couple shooting, or you have some shots that will help you with your storytelling?
The most important part for me is the audio. You can actually watch a video with really bad quality and good audio, but I promise that no one can watch a video with great video quality and really terrible audio. So I start by focusing on the audio. If I can, explain the story with the audio. So I give a lot of attention to the speeches, to the vows. Maybe sometimes the celebrants are saying some beautiful words. So I try to listen all of that. And before I do anything, I try to create a story with just their voices. If I can achieve that, then my life is so easy that, to be honest, it doesn't really matter what you're going to show to the video. Just by listening to this, you have a story. So that's my first attempt. Unfortunately, especially in the Greek weddings, we don't have these speeches or these vows. So all of the audio that we can use is during maybe the preparations, or maybe the priest will say some beautiful words after the ceremony. I've done that. I've actually used the words of the priest after the ceremony, and it was actually really, really beautiful and romantic in a way.
It is sometimes, yes.
Yeah. Now, when you don't have even that, the best thing that you can do is ask your clients, do you want a good video? If they really do, you have to ask them to maybe do some interviews. That's how I actually started creating maybe a bit more professional wedding videos. Because I was asking my clients, I had Greek weddings without even priests. Maybe it was a political wedding. So I asked them, can I take some interviews from you? So without even any charge, I would go maybe to their homes and try to record them. Or even if they were away, I was telling them, do you have an iPhone or a Samsung Galaxy phone? Just put it close to your mouth and say some words about each other. And this helps so much that after you're doing some videos with audio, you're like, I cannot anymore do videos without audio because it feels so empty.
So you deliver this short form, let's say, video. And what about the long form? How many minutes?
So first of all, it doesn't mean that I always deliver long form videos. We have different packages with different video lengths. The one video that they always get, it's a highlights video that lasts like 5 minutes, something like that. And after that, I also sometimes deliver a 20 to 30 minutes documentary video. That's how I call it, documentary, because of course, it doesn't have the same energy and the same storytelling as the highlights video.
The documentary film is also cinematic.
Of course, always.
Of course.
So, yeah, it has bars, if that's what you're asking. Yeah, I put some bars because while I'm shooting, I want to mention here, I always use in my monitor a format and I add bars, a specific format, and I add bars. So when I edit the video, I also use them because I'm framing according to this exact aspect ratio. So yeah, my documentary video also is cinematic documentary video. And yeah, what was your question again?
The procedure that you are making this, let's say, long form video.
Okay, about the long form video. It's not A specific recipe that I use. Sometimes I just put, all the videos one after the other, and I just make the cuts, and I try maybe sometimes to blend, for example, the preparations of the groom and the bride. I try to blend because these events are happening at the same time, but I don't actually create a time dilation between the shots. So it's not that I start, for example, with the party and then I move to the ceremony and then I go back to the preparation. I try to hold the time schedule as it really happened. Now, of course, there are some times that I use the speeches also to the documentary video. So sometimes I might create a bit of rewind with by using the speeches or the vows during the entire video.
What advice would you give to the couples when it's time to choose their wedding videographer?
I believe that nowadays we have a really, really big problem. I mean, I don't know if before 10 years they didn't have the same problem, but nowadays with the Instagram and the TikTok, people are choosing their videographers just by viewing their portfolio on Instagram. Now, there is a problem. First of all, Instagram is not made to show videos. They have these short form videos, the reels, that are in a different aspect ratio, and you can't even see the video in a good quality. So my biggest advice is that before you choose your videographer, you need to really see their portfolio for real, not through Instagram. They have to send you a few videos, highlights, maybe even a longer video if you're looking to also book a longer video, and see many different videos so you can understand their vision and their feeling. Because for me, for example, all my videos are different. I have videos that are super emotional. I have videos that are, with a lot of party. It doesn't mean that if someone sees just a reel that I'm showing a wedding party, this doesn't mean that all my videos are party. Mm-hmm. So there have been couples that they're telling me, okay, our video, we want it to be with a lot of party. And I'm like, guys, if you party, your video will be with a lot of party. If you just stay seated and drink and eat, your videos will be with food and drinks. So when you choose the videographer, you have to see the aesthetics and the skills of the videographer. Of course, each videographer has his style. I would never use a gimbal. Yes, and if you're looking for a gimbal, go somewhere else. But you have to view the whole picture of him and see different videos. And if you like the general idea, then you can go ahead and book with him.
Thank you, Dimosthenis.
Thank you so much again for
having me. It was very full of information, our podcast.
Thank you so much.